We were growing up, we equated everything to Little League Baseball. That's how, when we're talking, you think about people, you remember who played for what. And I know that George played for Pop Cola. And for you young people here, Pop Cola was a locally made cola that we enjoyed for years. I also, as I was sitting there, picked up the hymnal as Pastor Steve was talking about this event this afternoon, and I opened up the hymnal, and I always open up to see who it's dedicated to and in memory of, and it was to Dr. Brazier, presented by Martha Brazier. And Martha was George and I's science teacher in junior high, so I thought that was maybe a little blast from the past about maybe that's why George ended up in medical school. I was telling Lindsay a while ago that George's class, which was a class of 67, was a very overachieving class. So like George and three of his friends all ended up being in the medical profession. And I told him if you could line them all up against the wall, that whole class, and point out which one was going to be the OBGYN, would not have been George. One thing I get to do is mayor's proclamations. Now there's a good side, because normally a lot of times you're commemorating something good that's really happened in the community, but also sometimes it's a little bit of a downer because it may be commemorating something that may be somewhat, we hope not, coming to an end. And that's sort of what we're doing today, celebrating George and Debbie with over 30 years of service to Hope and Hempstead County, and just to a very few of who they serve are here today. So, George, on behalf of the city and citizens and Debbie, I'd like to read the following proclamation. It says, whereas Dr. George and Debbie Garrett are lifelong residents of Hope, Arkansas, and whereas there have been many distinguished graduates of Hope High School these past years who are a source of pride and have brought much recognition to their alma mater. And whereas George and Debbie are two of these distinguished alumni who, after their continued education and medical training, chose to return to Hope to practice their medical professions and raise their family, Leslie, Lindsay, and Trey. And whereas for over 30 years, Dr. Garrett and Debbie have served the health needs and cares of many of our community, first with a successful obstetrics practice, and these past years a family practice that has cared for, protected, and improve the health of literally hundreds of Hope and Hempstead County citizens. And whereas the Garretts have donated much of their time, talents, and energies to making Hope a better place in which to live, work, and play. And whereas the citizens of Hope wish to express our sincere appreciation and respect for what George and Debbie have meant to our city. That's what it's all about. For the many lives which they have touched and for the health care for which they have provided. Now therefore, I, as Mayor of the City of Hope, Arkansas, on behalf of the Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim Sunday, January the 31st, 2010, as Dr. George and Debbie Garrett Day in the City of Hope, and join all citizens of Hope in thanking them for their commitment and service to the health and welfare of our citizens.
I tried to tell you that.
My speech is not really prepared. I've often been described as a man of few words, and I will not do anything to tarnish my reputation. We're overwhelmed by people coming out. We certainly appreciate it. We appreciate the church, which has been so important to us. Some of my earliest memories of the old church when my aunt would make sure I went to Sunday school, and Aunt Matt, many of y'all probably remember. It's an honor for us. We love the city, and it's a very special place to grow up and to raise a family. I appreciate everyone coming. Very happy. Appreciate all my kids and grandkids coming. I'd like to say just one word. I see Dr. Goins here. It's been an honor for me to work with him. I'd like to just put a little pitch in for the Christian Clinic, which is a very worthwhile cause. If you, I encourage all of you to participate in any way. It's a very wonderful cause. And I'll close with just, I always love to watch, some of you who are older remember Ma and Pa Kettle movies. Younger people don't know who they were. There's a couple that, kind of a country couple that had a whole house full of children. And Ma was always talking and Pa didn't say much. And they had a Thanksgiving meal one day. And Ma asked Pa to bless the food, and Pa always had a little hat on. He just tipped his hat and said, "Much obliged." So, thanks.
Thanks again for coming. Plenty of food. Enjoy your fellowship.